Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Free Terrible Gamers. I'm your host Colin, here with Ashton.
Hey guys, how you doing this week?
All right, everything that we had left over from last week is still relevant, so we're going to continue with what was happening last week, and then if we get to it, we'll get to the new topics for this week. But we're going to start off with Antstream Arcade is coming to Xbox, or I guess is on Xbox at this point.
Yeah, it's on there now. But yeah, Antstream Arcade is offering over 1,300 retro game titles on Xbox One and Series X/S, with notable titles such as Space Invaders, Metal Slug, and Bubble Bobble. The company says these titles will be playable instantly without additional downloads or installation via its cloud gaming platform, and more titles being added every week. This is notable as Antstream will be the first third-party game streaming service on Xbox. Says the service will support cloud-based game saves, an online scoreboard, and the ability to pick up your game from multiple devices. Antstream Arcade is already available on Mac, PC, Linux, Android TV, Fire Stick, and Samsung TVs, but this marks the first time it's coming to a game console. So this is pretty cool. I know there's a lot of people out there that still like older retro games, and so I figured, 1,300 to choose from. There's got to be some there for a little bit of everybody to try if you like retro games. And Space Invaders, that one specifically, I like that game really well. I played it a lot on arcade, like several. It comes out on almost every remake of like arcade sticks or whatever you can find online.
Yeah, Space Invader is probably definitely the most notable game on there that I've seen. And for $30, you get 1,300 games. So, I mean, that's not a bad deal whatsoever.
No. And being able to play it not just on the Xbox, but anything since it's, cloud based. So if you have any of those platforms like a
Yeah.
Mac, PC, Android TV, or Fire Stick, like I mentioned, you can play it and keep your game saves if you're playing on your Xbox or if you go play in your room on your Fire TV or something.
Yeah, Space Invaders paired with old Dig Dug, it should be a very nostalgic trip.
Oh, yeah, Dig Dug. Bubble Bobble, I played it too. Metal Slug, I never played it, but I've heard of it obviously. I've heard probably almost all of those games, 1,300 of them, but probably heard their name at least once.
Probably over the course of the years. Like I said, I haven't heard that Bubble Bobble one.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not a bad game. But there's 1,300, so I didn't want to have the whole list on here. So
That take, take the whole podcast just covering those.
yeah,
Maybe even more.
yep.
Might
So
be a few weeks.
probably take a while. So you guys can go check those out whenever you feel like it, if you want to. Just we're giving you the news. Go check it out.
Sticking with news, which, I mean, obviously these ones are still in the pre-order, but the PS5 Access controller is going to be on December 6th.
Yep. So the Access controller for PlayStation 5 will launch on December 6th, like Colin said, worldwide for $89.99 US, $119.99 for Canadians, and 12,980 yen for the Japanese market, and $89.99 for, I don't know what that currency is, and then 79.99 euros. So Sony Interactive Entertainment announced pre-orders will open on July 21st, which was time of recording yesterday. On your PlayStation 5 console, there are many settings for the Access controller that you can configure to meet your needs. You can map buttons to create up to 30 control profiles, adjust stick settings, toggle commands on and off, or disable buttons altogether to stop accidental pressing. You can even pair up to two Access controllers and one DualSense wireless controller together and use them collaboratively. So the Access controller, it's basically an accessibility controller, access controller. It's a handicap controller basically. So if somebody's having trouble, like their hands don't work real well, they can't grab a DualSense 5 controller. It's kind of in a circle, like, and has the buttons around and has like a basically an arcade stick for the joystick, so it makes it easier for them to use it if somebody's having trouble with their hands or whatever. I don't know, arthritis, whatever problems you may have. Xbox came out with a controller similar to this not too long ago, so I guess this is just Sony's competitive market to that. But I mean, it's for good cause, and not everybody can play the same, so it's good to give everybody access to a controller or to be able to play games if they want to.
Yeah, PlayStation's pretty. I got this off PlayStation website, but it said for the past 5 years we've been on a journey with accessibility organizations and experts to create a versatile controller kit that enables gamers to with disabilities to play more comfortably and for longer periods, empowering more players to share the joy of the game. Today, we're thrilled to announce the Access controller for PS5 will be available globally on December 6th, as we mentioned before, with pre-orders kicking off yesterday at the time of recording on the 21st. So, PlayStation has set up themselves with, at least they're doing something right with the whole entire fiasco with the Activision stuff. But, at least they're somewhat looking out for their player base at this point, which I can appreciate them a little bit for that community. But at the same time, like you said, with the whole entire Xbox has basically already had one out that's just there competitive to the market. So at the same time, screw Sony for not having it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, screw them for not having it before Microsoft. Stupid Sony.
Get the FTC on that one.
Yeah, they just want to. So Xbox doesn't get all their accessibility and disabled players going over to them.
Yeah.
Stupid Sony. Selfish.
Uh,
No, but
well,
in all actuality, though, it's good for Sony. I do appreciate them doing this. This is the first thing they've done right in quite a while, I'll say. Um, I would say Nintendo, being how they are, will probably come out with one eventually before the end of the Switch's life cycle, because you know how friendly they are to all of their, all ages really. So it's not even really just an age thing; it's disability. But um, I would say they would come out with something too eventually.
I mean, technically, to an extent, I don't think they would necessarily because, especially if they keep the same formula with like the Switch controllers or Joy Cons, rather. Because, I mean, that would be a very accessibility. I mean, that's a very accessibility based controller in itself. If you just, because I mean, you can play on just one controller.
Yeah, some games can.
So, I mean, they'll probably make it more available that way. Because, like I said, it's not as bulky as a DualSense or a Xbox controller, which an Xbox controller being a lot bigger than a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
But if you're comparing the Joy Cons to it, and they might just make it a setting like that, that way you can play every game on just Joy Con. But I would say that would come out on the next gen Switch opposed to current gen because you think they're technically one generation behind everybody else at the moment.
Are they behind or are they ahead? Nobody really knows.
As I say, with the whole entire taking it, a hybrid console, they're ahead, but at the same time, it's graphics wise, are definitely
Oh
behind.
yeah, that's for sure. But people place the Wii U and the Switch in the same generation when technically that should have started the next generation.
Yeah.
But definitely graphics and power wise, yeah, they're definitely behind this current well, the next gen, which is all the current gen, basically Nintendo Switches in last gen. But people
Yeah.
still call the current generation next gen and then the Switch current gen. So I mean,
Yeah. It'll be like that until they get like a PS5 Pro at
or
this point.
or the Switch successor comes out. Then it'll be current gen, I guess, for everybody.
Yep. But anyways, moving on from accessibility to a PlayStation game getting a PC port.
Yeah, so this game, all right, so when it first came out, they said that everything that goes on in the game, going between different rifts and things in this game, was only possible because of the PlayStation 5 and its, hard drive, the SSD and the graphics cards and everything. So, and then here we have a PC port, which I don't know how much everybody knows about hard drives, but an HDD is very old compared and very slow compared to an SSD. And this game will run on an HDD, which is, say, Xbox 360, early Xbox One era, old. So the devs saying that this game was only going to be able to run and only possible to run on the PlayStation 5, and then they're saying it's going to run on HDD. Shows how much Sony's full of crap, and they talk up their games like this game only requires 8 gigabytes of RAM to run, and it'll run on an HDD with 75 gigabytes of space.
Yeah, I mean, and about in the end game of it all, PC has been ahead of all the consoles for a while.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean,
you know,
always will
console can,
be.
yeah, because the fact that you can get 120 frames per second on a PC at this point with the right stuff, and then at a console level, you're still only at 60.
Yep.
And
Sometimes
like I
still
said,
30 on next gen.
so at this, there's no excuse saying that PC won't be able to handle something. Yeah, there's some PCs that won't be able to handle it,
Right.
but at
There's
the same
definitely
time,
some
if
that
you're,
will.
yeah, there's a lot that will,
Yeah.
because a lot of people keep their PCs up to date with the newest hardware and everything else. Because the reason why people don't get into PC gaming is because the initial startup of it all. But
And the
pretty much
price.
once you get it all, yeah, once you get it set to where it is, you can adjust and everything for a lot cheaper than what it would be
Oh yeah.
for everything. So it's just that initial
Yeah.
kick of it all to get everything off the ground. But
Yeah.
yeah, anything that console can do, a PC has already been able to do for at least 10 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of piece. It's PC ports coming July 26th. You know, on Steam and such. But I mean, I'll pick it up eventually because I like playing some of the PlayStation games because I don't have a PlayStation because I'm not buying their console, but I will buy their game not from them but from Steam. So yeah, it's coming to PC and it doesn't take a whole lot of space or power to run this thing. You can run this thing on AMD Ryzen 3 and we're up to Ryzen 9 now. So yeah, don't
Do you
take a
think
whole lot of
old
power.
DAC?
Daxter?
Yeah,
Do I think?
that's part of that series, isn't it?
No, that's Jack and Daxter.
Jack and Dexter.
Yep,
Ratchet and Clank are different. Okay.
different IP. But I do hope that Daxter, they do something with. I hope they make a Daxter 2, not a Jack and Daxter like 6 or whatever. How many ever out there? I just hope they do a Daxter 2 because that game was awesome on the PSP. Just him by himself doing whatever. Or if they
For
just
some reason,
remake
I
the
was
first
thinking
one.
of the same universe. Like
Yeah,
they're different games, but I was thinking they was in the same
they
universe.
are. They are, but he's off doing his own thing and Jack's not in it.
Gotcha.
But even if they remake the PSP for modern consoles, that'd be awesome because I love that game.
Oh yeah.
Good game.
All right. Oh, you was mentioning Steam, but Square Enix has their own sales going on right now. Still,
Yeah, so I got the whole list here. It's gonna take a minute, but
we got a few of them. Like,
yeah, we got a few of them. Collection of mana. I have the prices here, but I'm not gonna say the prices. You guys can go look at the prices. But collection of mana, collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend, Dragon Quest 2, Dragon Quest 3, Dungeon Encounters, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8 Remastered, Final Fantasy what's IX in Roman numerals?
10. No, not IX is 9.
9. Okay. Final Fantasy
IX
X
And then I
and
was like,
X2. Because I knew X was 10, but I knew whatever is after, like XI would be 11, but IX
yeah.
wasn't sure.
So anytime it's before, it's going to be one less.
Okay,
So you've from it basically.
okay, gotcha.
Like
So
IV is 4.
yeah, and then V is 5, and then VI is 6. Yep, gotcha. Final Fantasy X, X2 Remaster, Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, Final Fantasy 15, Pocket Edition HD, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, Harvestella, Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix Cloud version, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Cloud version, Kingdom Hearts 3, the Remind Cloud version, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, Legend of Mana, Neo, the World Ends With You, Nier Automata, Octopath Traveler 2, Power Wash Simulator, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Romancing Saga 2 and 3, Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered.
Sounds sexy.
Yeah, it does. Saga Frontier Remastered, Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions, Star Ocean First Departure R, Tactics Ogre Reborn, the Rhythm, Final Bar Line, Trials of Mana, World of Final Fantasy Maxima. So there's a ton of games on there I've never heard of, but obviously everybody loves the Final Fantasies and the Kingdom Hearts games from Square Enix and the Dragon Quest games. So there's several of those on there. Go pick them up, and they will be available on the Switch eShop until July 26th, which time recording is 4 days from now. So
I
you'll have
actually
time.
seen a couple you didn't mention.
Okay.
Uh, there, which I think I was looking at the general overall thing, and not necessarily just a Switch,
Okay.
but the one I seen, it had Just Cause. It was on sale, 1 through 4. Uh, Deus Ex, which have you ever played that game or heard of it?
I think, was it not part of the Games with Gold a long time ago?
It canceled a long time
Yeah,
ago. I
I
didn't.
played it.
That game was rough. Don't know if you played enough of it to realize how rough it was, or I may just be that bad at it.
I don't think I played a whole lot of it, maybe like an hour or two most.
Like it was, I couldn't get past the first boss. Like, and this was, I say probably close to, I say 7 or 8 years ago at this point. So it's not like I was a kid trying to play it, but it
Right.
was like it was rough trying to beat that game, which it's rated like one of the like not like Dark Souls hard, but it's rough in that aspect of it.
Okay.
But they got 2 or 3 games out now for the series, and they're all on sale. And Tomb Raiders are on sale. Pretty much the whole series is on sale as well, up to like 56% off. And
Okay.
then there's a few indie games on there. I didn't get the list of indie games, but they can be as low as free.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, those are some good games. Just Cause, Deus Ex, the Tomb Raider games. Those are really good. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. I own, I think 2 or 3. They were actually free one time on the Epic Game Store, and I picked them up while they were free.
That's the thing. I've never played a Tomb Raider game.
They're not bad. Um, I played the original on the PlayStation 1, and then I played, I don't remember the names of them. There's like 3 different ones that were free on the Epic Game Store I played. I mean, I never beat them or anything, but they are pretty interesting and pretty fun. They do take quite a bit of power on a PC to play, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean, obviously if you played the
especially with new.
PC version, but oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, a lot of good games on here. Like I said before, I'm not an RPG guy, so Final Fantasy isn't my thing, but neither is Kingdom Hearts. But I know there's a ton of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts fans out there. Just Cause, that's a good game. I've played it, and yeah, like Colin said, Deus Ex, tough game, but it's fun.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right,
and
now
Power
on to
Wash
this week.
Simulator. Don't forget that, Colin. You gotta try that out. Power Wash
I
Simulator.
think I'm.
You're not gonna
I
play
think
it?
I'm good on power. I'll stick to old Goat Simulator.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the type of person that falls in that ASMR stuff that you would like watch online. Like stuff just don't like suit my fancy for it. Like I don't understand the purpose of doing stuff like that. Like I said, a goat simulator, I can't be a goat in real life. I can go outside and power wash anything I want to.
Right. Well, yeah, like you said,
Granted,
ASMR, like I can't get into that. Like I've seen people online just blow up over like, oh, it's so relaxing. I listen to it and it's just a bunch of noise. That's not relaxing to me.
no, it's like
Relaxing to
stress
me
inducing.
is peace and quiet,
Exactly.
not a bunch of noise, rattling paper or whatever the crap they do. There's all kinds of crap people listen to.
Yeah. And like I said, simulators like that to me is the video game world ASMR of
Yeah,
that
basically.
stuff.
Yeah.
And if you get the right crowd with it and your people would enjoy that type of stuff, and yeah, you're probably going to enjoy that game.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'm not, like I said, as far as simulator goes, the only simulator game I've ever played is the Goat Simulator.
Right.
And that's because it's not physically possible for me to be a goat.
That's true. I can go outside and power wash my car if I want.
You know, it might be frowned upon, but I could even go do surgeon stuff if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Because
Good.
there's even a surgeon simulator. I mean, I can do all that stuff. One thing I cannot do is be a goat.
Yeah. Farming simulator, you got a garden, You got,
Exactly. I may not get all the big fancy equipment that you can get on that game, but I can still literally do all the gardening stuff on that game.
yeah.
Be a goat? I cannot. Because I'm terrible. I cannot be the greatest of all time.
That's right.
All right, but moving on to this week's topics. Ubisoft weighs in on the Microsoft acquisition.
Who cares what Ubisoft says?
We do for the purpose of this podcast right now.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, as reported by GameSpot, Guillemot, I don't know if I probably ain't saying it right, but he's the CEO, president, something of Ubisoft. But he said that Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard going through is good news, as it really shows the power of IPs and the direction the industry is headed towards. He also mentioned that this deal shows the value of IPs on different platforms like PC, console, and mobile as well. Furthermore, he also said how mobile is an important part of Microsoft's plans with Activision and that Ubisoft is also aligned with the same. Guillemot also isn't the first one to give his approval to Microsoft Activision deal, as Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick had already said the same last year. So I thought that was pretty interesting to add that too, because we like 2K, so they make 2K, so they're all for it as well. Which doesn't really matter if they're for it or not, but they are.
I don't
Uh,
personally.
I mean, it's good that other gaming companies are for it, but and if they're against it, then it's not like it's they can block the deal or anything. But it is good that the gaming world is for it. It seems like the only ones that aren't, obviously Sony, but they signed that deal. So apparently they're for it now since they were going to take the loss on it. But only ones that are against it really are non-gaming places. Like they're just competitive markets like the CMA, the FTC. They're the only ones that are against it. And they're not even, yes, they do regulate gaming, but it's not just gaming. I mean, cell phone carriers and stuff like that too. Just anything that's not fair is that is what they regulate or try to block. So it's good to see actual gaming companies are for it and see how it will help gaming instead of hurting it.
Oh yeah. I probably have a little bit more respect for Sony, just how you mentioned that, which I mean, obviously we've talked about for pretty much the past 10 weeks, it feels like nonstop, consistently. We've got to mention the FTC and Sony, but I'd probably have a little bit more respect for Sony if they took their loss and then just was like, okay, we just won't have Call of Duty on PlayStation now since we actually lost. But no, they came crawling back like the little wimps they are,
Yeah,
and then still.
they did. And they took a worse deal because everybody else's deal says that Activision Blizzard games will come to their systems. Sony's is just Call of Duty. The one they offered Sony before they started all this crap and sued them, used the FTC to sue them or whatever. It was the same as everybody else's Activision Blizzard games. So if there's a new Spyro 4 coming out, it's not going to Sony. If there's a new Guitar Hero coming out, it's not going to Sony. Only Call of Duties will go to Sony for the next 10 years. Nothing else. Now, that's not saying every single game that they come out with will go everywhere else, will go to the Switch, but it's just a possibility that it can. There's no possibility that it will go to PlayStation.
Yep. And they basically lose two of their original mascots in that
Yep.
stupidity.
Yep. Crash and
They're-
Spyro.
Yep, they are now Microsoft's people.
Yep.
They won't be nowhere near mascot status, but
No. Microsoft's already got theirs.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on, simply bash Sony some more.
That's what they get.
Uh, Miyamoto weighed in on his theories of why people do not like Pikmin 4 as much as, Pikmin in general, opposed to other Nintendo games, first party.
Yeah, so it says for a series with numerous entries developed and published by Nintendo, Pikmin has never sold as well as you might expect. In a recent Ask the Developer interview from Nintendo, series creator Shigeru Miyamoto shared his thoughts on why that might be. The main Pikmin series has only sold a little over 5 million copies in its lifetime, which is half of what The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom managed to sell in its first 3 days. In the recent interview, Miyamoto asked himself about the series, why haven't they exploded more on sales, even though they're so much fun to play? Why do people think they're so difficult? The iconic developer goes on to explain that he thinks it's because players struggle with how much death factors into the games. I get that people find it more difficult when death is a factor, Miyamoto said in response to a comment an interviewer about players being afraid of Pikmin dying because they're cute. But I think the franchise's strength lies in a relationship with mortality. So it's kind of a weird response, I guess. But I mean, if that's his opinion on it, then that's fine. But he thinks that it's the death of the Pikmin because they're little cute characters is the reason the players don't want to buy the game. Me, I've never played a Pikmin game. It's just not something that I think I'd be interested in, so that's why I haven't bought it. So maybe that's other players' reasons as well. It's just something they've never seen before, something they just may not be interested in. If I played it, I might be, but it just doesn't look like I would, so that's why I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I don't know if death would necessarily be a factor because, I mean, shoot, he's even walked through and showed people how to play Tears of the Kingdom starting. I mean, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom starting
You
out.
you can die in
You know
Zelda
how many times
games. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I dare to say how good Link looks or not is all up to your personal opinion on how you handle these situations. But I'm just saying, Link can be cuter than a Pikmin sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Mainly Zelda, but
Oh
Link can be
yeah.
up there.
Zelda can.
But no, it's just funny how that's how. I mean, like you said, it's an opinion and everything else, but it's just still it's. But then again, as I've mentioned before in this podcast, like it was one of our first episodes, like with the slime rancher type
Mm-hmm.
situation. I'm the type of person I can go through and I can kill little chicklets on that game.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have any issue killing Pikmin. So that's why I like to be the opinion is just like, okay. But at the same time, I'm just like, Miyamoto, you have literally played or had your hand on about every single Nintendo title that has released underneath you guys that have you dying a lot.
I mean,
Bad.
in Mario, you die a lot. I mean, maybe, you know,
Well, shoot, what's even the point of? I mean, there's literally a Yoshi sacrifice to get that little extra jump. Like, how many Yoshis I've sacrificed just to get that extra jump in?
yeah,
And Yoshi is pretty cute. I mean,
he is.
I'll
He
say that he's
is.
cute,
Yeah, he's a cute character.
but yet again, I've killed plenty of Yoshis, so Pikmin will not be an issue for me.
No, Yoshi's cuter than Pikmin, in my opinion. They're ugly little things to me.
Yeah. They're just little flowers, basically.
Yeah,
Yoshi's a living, breathing creature.
dinosaur. He's a cute little dinosaur.
Yeah, if it gets sacrificed, everything on my needle extra height.
Yeah.
That's never stopped Miyamoto before.
No, it hasn't.
All right, let's hit this last one.
All right.
Get through all of them this week. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Catching up.
Uh, yeah, that's right. The FTC is suspending its in-house antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft, which I guess technically we could have added this in, but I just really want to get the Miyamoto thing out.
Okay. All right. So it says after it was denied an injunction by a U.S. federal court, the FTC has also put a hold on its internal challenge against Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The Federal Trade Commission's case against Microsoft intended acquisition of Activision Blizzard is slowing down after it announced it would be suspending its in-house lawsuit, as reported by The Verge. The administrative challenge that was set to go before its own administrative judge in August has been suspended. In addition to its own lawsuit, the FTC also filed for a temporary restraining order while seeking a preliminary injunction that would keep Microsoft from closing its deal to purchase Activision Blizzard. The injunction was denied by a U.S. District Court, and further appeals by the FTC also failed. So basically, my thoughts on that is they had no case against in court, and they chose the judge in that one as well. So and and Sony's already signed the deal, so whoever who was paying them, it's already went through with the deal. So they have no reason to go through with it. So the U.S. is wide open. It's done. We're just waiting on the CMA in the UK, and they're working on a negotiation. And Activision Blizzard and Microsoft has came to an agreement with a contract extension through October 18th. So they have until October 18th to get the CMA on their side. I mean, it's not they don't have to wait till then. It's just that's the deadline. So it could be tomorrow if they come out with an agreement. So it's going
Yeah,
through, and the CMA, the judge, has basically said, okay, it's going through everywhere else. We're the holdup right now. Let's get this thing going through. It's going through. Let's just find what it needs to happen to make that happen.
yeah, exactly. I can't really add much more on to how you explained it because I was literally my whole entire point was it's funny. As soon as PlayStation pretty much waved her little white flag, the FTC gave up on all things that
Yeah.
there was. So that
Coincidence?
pretty
I
much
don't think so.
no. That goes on to say that PlayStation was signing them dollar bills underneath the table to get them to try to fight this for 'em.
Yep.
So, like you said, with going on with the CMA, which is the UK's version of all this stuff, since
Yep.
I had it used the past couple of weeks, is literally like you said. It's like, okay, why are you guys still fighting this?
Right.
Because PlayStation has submitted everywhere else in the world except for the UK at this point.
Right. And the judge, I mean, he just straight up told him, he's like, this is going through. Let's just see what needs to happen in order for that to happen. So, you know, Microsoft's already offered to give up some of their cloud gaming rights to a third party just to make it go through in the UK. And I think that'll be enough to let the CMA approve it. I mean, the judge isn't going to, obviously he's not going to allow them not to approve it. So they got to come up with something.
Yeah, and I got kind of like a little side note on this as well, since this is involved in the whole entire acquisition thing. Is people was wondering if we're going to get like the new Call of Duty on Game Pass. It wouldn't happen instantaneously, like it can't be like first day until 2025 because PlayStation still technically has
They
their
own the
contract
rights.
till 2025.
Right.
So the year of Black Ops 2 is when you're able to get the first day edition of Call of Duty for Xbox, which I say that's when it will happen. They'll wait until 2025 before they do that. But that's just a little extra topic for you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's not that the new Call of Duty won't come to Game Pass at some point before the next one comes out. It's just it can't come out get day one because only Sony still owns the rights to Call of Duty until then.
Yep. But
But
like I said, that with that topic, so that's why I was decided it was a good little tidbit of information to throw in.
Right. So the deal will go through. It's just we're waiting on to see what happens between the CMA and Microsoft. But talking about Call of Duty and Game Pass, I'd say all the Call of Duty, old Call of Duties, will come to Game Pass as soon as this deal goes through, because Microsoft's already fixed the servers on the 360 Call of Duties. The servers are back. Players are playing on them now, no problem. So it's just a matter of time. This deal goes through; those will be up on Game Pass.
Yeah. I said he would go ahead and jump the gun, but they don't want to lose the respect of the UK audience, so they're just going to wait in general for it to happen.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it here yet, even though it's already accepted.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this, like I said, the servers are already up. They know this deal is going through. They're just waiting for the UK to say the word, and then I'd say it'll be on Game Pass next month if they get it done by the end of
But
this month.
yeah, I believe that is all the time we have for today, though, and we got for all the topics. So, I mean, not really much more to talk about, anyways.
Right.
All right. You follow our socials, our TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Ashton's personal YouTube, Twitch, Kick,
Yep.
Redbubble,
Yep. Buy our merch. Discord.
Patreon if you want to help.
Yeah.
Discord if you want to talk to us.
Yeah. If you don't, then I don't want to talk to you either.
I like talking to everybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you got to reach to us first.
Yeah.
Oh, but other than that, later, guys.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.